Many believe that the theory of dressing started at the Christian Garden of Eden, where Adam and Eve used leaves to cover their nakedness after eating the fruits that they were asked not to eat by God.
Well, and the Quran also captures this issue of dressing when it said, "Tell the believing women to lower their gaze and guard their modesty." And right from then, dressing became a part and parcel of human beings, and rightly so too. I mean, it's one of the basic needs of man. That said, dressing is the focus on our Nigeria today, and you're welcome. My name is Ijeoma Njemanze.
And I am Nasiru Umar.
So there's a popular saying that goes, dress the way you want to be addressed. And more so because we live in a world that judges a book by its cover.
Yeah.
And as if to buttress that fact, there are modes of dressing that can almost clearly distinguish your tribe or race.
Yes, indeed. Youths are a very interesting demographic for their imaginative, creative, and expressive tendencies. As we explore the modes of dressing among the youths of the major Nigerian tribes, Emeka set the ball rolling with the Igbos.
One thing people could be easily identified with is their culture. Culture is a way of life. That is to say, it has to do with a lot of things such as what people eat, how they speak their language, how they behave, as well as what they wear. It is perhaps hard to separate any ethnic group from its traditional attires due to the importance of their attire to its cultural identity. The youths of the southeastern Nigeria, who are our major focus in this segment, most times wear traditional attire to grace occasions and in the long run showcasing the beauty of the traditional dresses of the southeastern people. They do this because of the significance of traditional attire to their cultural heritage.
People can be identified by what they put on. So if you're an Igbo and you are wearing Igbo attire, no matter where you are, people will know that you are from Igbo land. And that is the advantage of it. So with your attire, people will understand where you are coming from. Even if they meet you outside the country. From your attire, somebody can say, this person is from Niger Delta, this person is an Igbo man, this person is an Yoruba man. So that is the importance of attire.
The common traditional attires adorned by the youths of the Igbo race include ishiagu, jumper cloth, traditional cap, beads, while the women wear skirt and blouse, george, wrapper, gown, hair tie, and so on. These clothes are worn because of their uniqueness.
One thing, the identity is very, very much important. One can be or could be identified easily through his or her attire. People are being known, or traditions are being known through the attire of a particular set of people.
When I put on my traditional wear, you put on yours, and he put on his, and you put everybody put it. Then you'll be able to identify us. This person comes from Yoruba land. I'm from Kogi State. I have my own traditional wear. Unlike if in festive period, when I put on my traditional wear, people from another states, they will know that yes. And when they are coming, everybody will bring their own, as in wear, put on their own traditional wear. Then you can be able to identify us, and it gives respect. When you put on your traditional wears, it makes you look good.
Nigerians and indeed the Igbo youths have their traditional attires. These traditional attires, apart from being unique in their own rights, are mostly decent in outlook, to represent one of Africa's values.
4 years ago, Nigerians come back fully to meet up with the tradition by wearing that tradition, so that youth will understand that it's very important for you to know that you belong to so place. You belong to so place. It makes you to even go back to school and know that your language is very important. Through language, you will get the traditional attire. Through languages, you will get everything you want.
Given that the way people dress could easily tell more about them, it is quite discouraging that most youth, even in Igbo land, undermine the use of traditional attires, which could lead to eroding of such valuable cultural symbols. For whatever problem, there is always a way out.
You can see these days, we, the elders in the town, in the country, we are trying to make sure we return back for old days so that people will begin to wear the traditional attire. So by the time you put on tradition, you cannot go and show your tradition to be anyhow. So anytime you see anybody that saw the tradition, you wear the tradition, you will see that that person is very honest. So we are trying to say more people should help, even government should help to open so many factories more, so that people will be learning how to sew the clothes, people will be buying from we, because if you look at we in this market, I believe this 70% of the goods in this market, in this shop here, is tradition. Likewise what I'm wearing now.
It is imperative that we promote the use of our rich cultural attires, which reflect our identity and promote our value of decency in dressing as a people. There is indeed no place like home.
A program that showcases Nigeria in all its entirety.
From northeast, southeast, and north central part of Nigeria. It is a program that brings you different aspects of Nigerian life.
Name it, everything you need to know about Nigeria, you can be sure will be captured at one time or another here on the program.
In any city planning, there are provisions for basic social amenities.
Communication is one area where modern technology is most important.
This is our Nigeria. My name is Ijeoma Okoronko.
And I am Nasiru Umar. You want to stick around for this one.
The perception is that the Hausa tribe are quite a conservative bunch when it comes to dressing. But is this just a perception or reality among their youth? Rukaya answers this question for us.
Among all West African tribes, the Hausa tribe is unique and goes beyond its languages. The Hausa tribe is one of the 3 most populous tribes in Nigeria. Clothing is a valuable part of the Hausa identity, even though today's Hausa youth dressing is no longer the same as it was. But it is still an important aspect of life for the Hausa people. It is essential for the Hausa youths to have their women dressed properly and yet elegant on attires that don't show a lot of skin, so as to avoid judgmental looks.
In the typical Hausa society, is measured by, the extent at which the clothes you are wearing takes care and cover all the essential organs of your body without exposing any organ for whatever reason. So therefore it is expected that you should wear either a trouser that covers all your legs to the last point that is near your knee and your ankle, and at the same time also it should be, spacious in terms of, shouldn't be a kind of dress that, squeeze your body to the extent that some of the organ can easily be identified.
Nigeria Hausa population consists mainly Muslims, thus the religion dictates their approach to clothing. The youth's traditional attire for men includes babban riga, jalabia and kaftans with colorful caps known as fulla. But the embroidery on the clothing are the center of decoration on the youth's traditional attire. While the youth's traditional attire for the women can be recognized just with their colorful outfits called ankara or atampa, abaya and laces, which are highlighted by the use of jewelry, body paint known as henna or lalle, veils wrapped around the upper body and other ornaments.
The most acceptable dressing for us, the Hausas, is the ankara, veil and head tie for the ladies, and then babariga or kaftan and cap for the men.
However, in this 21st century, the strictness in using the traditional attire by youths is wearing off, even as they add some Hausa flair to their fashion style.
It depends from the family you are from. If you are more of an aristocratic family member, you have a more elaborate mode of dressing compared to when you are a regular Hausa person. Like what I'm wearing today is a kaftan and a cap. It's a really simple dressing considering it's summer, if we can call it summer. So the dressing is kind of light and, but if you are to dress as a Hausa person, you can also wear other apparels like the babariga, which is like a flowing gown, and you have the turban. In short, the Hausa culture is more or less mirrored to Arabic Islamic society culture.
Irrespective of the latest trendings in styles and fashions in dresses amongst youth today, culture and traditions are the main features that define a man's well-being.
People are getting, conscious of their relationship with other cultures. You understand? If you look at it, there's always a demarcation. You understand? You can easily identify, like I've said, even in Nigeria today, when you see a Benima, you see how he's dressed. He wear very big robe with some beads and so many others. A typical Benima, it has been their culture. If you see a Yoruba man also, you see him also wearing what they call buba with traditional handmade, with their cap. You understand what I mean? So the same thing with the Hausa. You understand? The view is this. You see, you should be able to be identified with your environment or where you're coming or your language.
Hausa traditional and cultural attire and its norms is not one which can be defined by its fast trendings in style and fashion, but by the moral value which it upholds. As you can see, both traditional and modern Hausa attires are a thing of beauty and a great addition to any wardrobe. Professional designers do their best to come up with both trendy and historically accurate attires. It is important for the Hausa youths to embrace their traditional attire so we don't lose our cultural and traditional attires to Western imperialism.
What reflects, your culture is what you have been doing. It's not what you later adopted. But now there's a lot of moderation and modernization in terms of the way the youth wear their dress and all this. And with technology also, which has also assisted. Like what you see me wearing now, most of this work are done with machine. But before it has to be done with hands. There are arts, made with hands and all this. You understand? But later there's an adoption. So with time, what we are seeing, from all indication, the youth are also coming up with their own innovation to be able to marry really what is obtainable in those days. But notwithstanding, I think the way and the manner you dress also portray who you are, your culture, your traditions, your religions, and what have you.
For the revival of the use of our traditional attires by the youths to fully succeed, parents and the government must play a major role in paying attention to the kind of clothes our youths buy and wear, because it is high time we say no to cultural imperialism and uphold our rich traditional attires.
Unlike the Hausas, the Yoruba people are perceived to be more flamboyant with traditional attires. Talking about agbadas, iro, and bubas. Now, let's hand over to Yehuza to tell us more.
The importance of youth in every community, society, or nations cannot be overemphasized. The place of youths in the transmission of culture from one generation to another cannot be undermined. Culture, which is a way of life of a people, encompasses their food, language, and mode of dressing, among other aspects of life. The Yoruba, an ethnic group in southwest Nigeria, has a distinct pattern of dressing which is flamboyantly unique. Yoruba have legendary types of clothes that make them distinct from other cultures around them. They take immense pride in their attire, for which they are well known for. Clothing materials traditionally come from processed cotton by traditional weavers. They believe that the types of clothes worn by a man depict his personality and social status, and that different occasions required different clothing outfits.
We have various dresses that can be used depending on the occasions and what you are celebrating in Yoruba land. For example, when it is time for a Yoruba man or woman to celebrate traditional wedding, you must be in traditional attire that cut across agbada, that is a big gown, the one that is flowing, and at the same time even the women too, they be in their attires, which is among other ones like buba, iro. So those are the normal and the traditional wears that are very common in the southwestern part of Nigeria.
Typically, the Yoruba have a very wide range of materials used to make clothing. The most basic being the ashoke, which is a handmade loomed cloth of different patterns and colors sewn into various styles.
The Yoruba people, they believe in some of the attires I've earlier mentioned, like agbada, iro, buba, aso-oke, and all these the dresses. So by the time you wear certain type of dress for sometimes, and even when it has become consistent in your life, it has become a norm, it has become part of your life. So which means what you'll be demanding for, if you like the Yoruba attires, then which means you'll be going for aso-oke and some of these big dresses. So like aso-oke is being produced at Ilorin, Kwara State. So which means the demand for that type of dress will be enormous in that part of the country, and it will also affect the economy of that particular place.
In contemporary period, Yoruba youths wear various types of clothing because of their interactions with other cultures, especially through education, trade, travel, and religion. This is why it is possible to see some Yoruba youths with suits and ties, and some others with heavy traditional clothes. The Yoruba also wear modern clothing like jean trousers, shirts, skirt and blouse, suits, gown are all borrowed from the Europeans. The Yoruba youth also wear kaftan, babariga and bobo, which are also borrowed from the Hausa traditions. The Yoruba man is easily distinguished from a Hausa or Igbo man, not only by language used, but most certainly by dress. The typical dress of Yoruba male and female today consists of jeans and shirts. Culturally, however, the Yoruba youths are expected to be modest in their dress pattern to reflect their Yoruba values. The youths of contemporary Yoruba land are not just jeans and shirts generation. Both boys and girls are not only revel in wearing hybrid dress comprising of Yoruba and non-Yoruba dress, but also cross-dressing. It is now common for girls to have shaved hair and wear jean trousers, shirt and face caps, while the boys wear earrings, necklaces and leg chains as well as plaits, weave, braid their hair. Yoruba sartorial tradition also establishes and reinforces individual and corporate identity of the Yoruba people.
You know, Ijeoma, at a first glance, one will not be able to tell what part of the country we are from.
Oh, that's for sure. And you know what's more exciting?
No.
I mean, in a multicultural and diverse climate like Nigeria, the fact that I can switch up my dressing to appear any way I please, not to mention how boring it would be if one had to dress a particular way for the rest of one's life, right?
You can say that again. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time.